Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I got a phone call this week that might be just good news for not only me, but a good sign of things to come. So as many of you know, I was scheduled on October 8th and 14th to go in for surgery. One of them was to put a little piece of metal behind my lung and another one like as a guide, like a stopgap kind of thing. And the other one on the 14th was another lung surgery for my cancer. That would be my sixth surgery, my third lung surgery. But with all the things going on in the hospitals and the worries that were going on, that has been canceled. So I was left in limbo. And just like everything else in the world being shut down and, we're all self-isolating, hospitals are doing the exact same thing. Well, on Monday morning, on Thursday, I received a phone call saying that, oh, by the way, did you get a call from the hospital about your surgery? And I said, no, nothing yet. And they said, oh, well, your surgery is Wednesday. So 6 days away. Not a lot of warning, not a lot of everything. And they said they've now combined both of those little surgeries on the same day if they decide they need that little piece of metal in there before the surgery. If they don't need the piece of metal in there before the surgery, they're just going to do the surgery on Wednesday. So in a way, that's really good news for me. As you know, I've been struggling with this for about 5 years now, almost, since I first found out. Started with colon cancer, spread to my liver, spread to my lungs. My colon, if you ever saw my stomach, it's kind of like this because my whole colon's been moved over and a big chunk like this was cut out. I lost 76% of my liver and I've had 3 sections taken out of lungs now and I'm going for my fourth. So yeah, it's a lot of surgeries plus, 18 months of chemo, radiation, all that stuff. So I've been through some rough times and it's been over a year and a half now since my last surgery and things were looking good, but there was one spot that we've been keeping an eye on one of the lungs, and that spot had been staying the same for about a year, and then about 6 months ago, it started to grow just a little bit, but still wasn't large enough to even take a biopsy from, so it's very, very small. And finally, it grew enough in one turn between tests that they said, okay, we have an option. What do you want to do? And I said, go cut it out. Because one of the scary things, if you've never been through this, is you already know that it's spread through your body. And one of the things they keep doing before I go for more surgeries, like each time a new surgery is scheduled, they scan your brain to make sure it hasn't spread to your brain. Because once it spreads up there, there's not a lot more they can do. And now I've gone for 5 surgeries already, and all 5 times they've scanned for that. And this time was no exception. And it makes me nervous that, yes, it's always been clear, thankfully. But if there's still that possibility of something that's in my body spreading to there, I want that thing out of my body as fast as possible. And the whole shutdown thing was making me a little bit nervous about what was going on. But the good news is they've called. I'm now going in on Wednesday the 29th. So if you're trying to reach me for a few days, I might be a little harder to reach. You can reach Angelina, email her. If you have anything that you need to reach her about. I'm planning on going in Wednesday. I'm hoping I'm out by the weekend. And, normally I come through these very, very good. but you'll have to excuse me if I don't answer the phone right away, or I can't answer an email right away, depending on my condition, of course. Now, what I mean by it's good news possibly for everyone else is also that means the hospitals are starting to do surgeries again. And what we mean by surgeries is elective surgeries. Now, the funny thing is, when I think elective surgeries, I think, liposuction and, cosmetic surgery, things like that. Things that, I have a mole on my shoulder and I'm choosing to get it removed. Those kind of things I think of as elective surgery. But basically, the definition of elective surgery is anything that's not life-threatening. Like, if he needs to go in for surgery now because he's internally bleeding and he's going to not make it. That's not elective surgery, but cancer is elective surgery. All that kind of stuff is still considered elective surgery. So by them now opening up the hospitals, that means that they're not getting the big push that they were expecting or fearful of, at least here in Ottawa. And I've heard now from some other people that they've started to make the surgeries available again in other parts of the country. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that they're not being overrun like New York is right now, with a mass amount of people that need to be dealt with right away, and they need, the isolation areas, they need the, private rooms and all that sort of things. In Ottawa, they keep all the private rooms for anybody who needs to be isolated because of the possibility of infection or something like that. And I don't qualify for that. Now, going in for surgery right now during this time, especially on lungs, when the virus is what affects your lungs and your respiratory, I was saying to myself, you know what, I'll pay for a private room. I don't care what it costs. I will pay for the private room. I'm lucky enough to be able to do that with my insurance, and I pay the difference. But they don't have it. They aren't putting anybody in private rooms. They may put me in one if one happens to be available and they don't think they're going to need it. But right now, the best I can hope for is a semi-private room. But, that's better than a ward. So, yeah, I will completely take whatever they want to give me, because quite personally, I'll take the risk of going to the hospital right now, because this thing has been in me way too long for my liking. I want to get it out of me now. And I recoup very, very well from surgeries, at least all my lung surgeries I've had. So I've only had one incident, and that was my very first incident where they removed most of my colon. I came out of that surgery and put into a room, and as I'm sitting in my room for the first, they roll in my food for dinner. I said, oh, I can eat. That's amazing. And I ate. Wasn't supposed to eat anything solid for 48 hours. But I had like their version of hamburger and potatoes and carrots, and it immediately affected my stomach. And they had to put that tube down your nose that goes down into your stomach, and it drains your fluid out. And I would see the fluid all the time, and it was just black stuff. Oh, it was the horrible experience. People would come in and I couldn't move, because if I moved, I felt like I was gagging. So I was just like this. I was always drowsy. I was always tired. And it was horrible. I was in for 17 days, and I was supposed to be out in 2. So the surgery went well. It was the mistake of feeding me beforehand that just threw my system out of whack, because it wasn't ready to process solid food yet. It was not. And you should have seen, it just was horrible. I hadn't shaved and I hadn't washed my hair and everything in 17 days. And the day they said I could finally do it, I asked the nurse, I said to the nurse, I said, can I get a razor blade? Because I was like looking gross and felt gross. And she says, well, we don't really have any razor blades and anything. So, but they found single blade disposable razors. and she brought me a bag full. There must have been about 15 razors in there. And I used it. I used every razor to get that scruff off my face when I was finally able to go in and wash and clean up properly and wash my hair and everything. And I came out and I was in my room and one of my nurses came in and she said, "Oh, where's Dawn at?" And I turned around and said, I'm right here. And she says, "Holy jumping," she says, "do you ever look different?" And I can quite imagine I did, because I looked horrible. I felt so bad for everybody visiting me in the hospital because I felt horrible and I looked even worse. But that's my digressing. I'm going in for surgery Wednesday the 29th. No one's going to be able to come and visit me. You're not allowed visitors, but that's okay. I'm pretty self-reliant. And I just wanted to let everybody know, because a lot of people were asking me, "Weren't you supposed to go for surgery? How come you didn't go for surgery?" And people are going to see videos up and they're going to say, "Hey, Dawn's not in for surgery again," but I film some videos ahead of time for just such occasions. So I hope you like these videos that are going to come up while I'm in the hospital. And if you're trying to reach me, I apologize if I'm a little slow getting back to you because, I'm in the hospital. Not much else I can do. Well, that's my update, my health update, and hopefully good news for a lot of other people who are waiting to go in for treatments or surgeries or everything, that we can get back to that stage at least. At least get back to treating everybody in the hospital who should be being treated. And that would be a great step in the right direction. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, why not give it a thumbs up? Maybe hit that subscribe button, and until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.